In a small coastal village surrounded by beautiful forests lived a community of people who had developed in their own unique way of life. They worshipped their own gods, cherished their rich cultural heritage, and lived in harmony with nature and their animals. It was a simple, yet fulfilling existence, reflecting a more innocent time. The air in the environment was fresh and clean, filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. In this wonderful village, there lived a young girl named Essie. Essie was confident, intelligent, and beautiful, as she was admired by many. As a 19 years old girl, Essie was enriched with the village's rich heritage. In a time where formal education was unknown, Essie's community placed more emphasis on passing down their cultural values to the younger generation. The villagers had developed their own unique practices, including traditional medicine, which has been passed down to generations. Essie, being exceptionally intelligent, had been trained in the act of traditional healing, making her a valuable asset to her community. Her expertise and kindness has earned her the love of many, particularly the young men in the village, who all struggled for her attention and hoped to make her their wife. However, Essie's background set her apart from the other girls in the village. Every adult in the village was considered a guardian to all the children. It was a collective responsibility where every adult felt empowered to guide, correct, and advise any child they saw straying from the path. Their form of education was to train everybody to be able to do unique things in their lives. Some youth learned how to weave. They normally weaved baskets, mats, fishing nets, ropes, and fans. Some of the villagers too learned how to sew dresses and many other fascinating jobs. It was not common to see ordinary inhabitants of the village learning the act of traditional healing. It was a field commonly studied by the privileged and persons that lived within the family that taught the act. AC came from a wealthy family, renowned for their vast coconut plantation, which had been the reason for their prosperity. This distinction added a touch of elegance to AC's already impressive persona. Life in the village was serene and loving until the arrival of mysterious strangers from a far world. The villagers, who were ash-skinned people, were astonished by the invaders' striking blue complexion. Despite the shock, the villagers welcomed the strangers with open arms, showering them with kindness and hospitality. But little did they know that this encounter was only the beginning. One day, the strangers walked along the village's ocean shore. They saw precious minerals lying around. To their surprise, the villagers didn't seem to know how valuable these treasures were, but the strangers knew their worth, as they were rare and expensive in their homeland in another world. In fact, the strangers never knew that some species of ash-skinned people ever existed, and it was same on the side of the villagers. The strangers decided not to let the villagers know the value of these precious minerals, and sat down to make a plan to get more of these valuable minerals. After finalizing their plan, the blue-skinned strangers packed some of the precious minerals they had collected and prepared to return to their homeland. This journey would take a very long time, as their homeland was extremely far away. The strangers frantically scooped up as many minerals as they could. During the process, their desire for more only intensified, fueling a pursuit to claim as much as possible. The strangers aimed to show the minerals to their ruler, who was majestic, eloquent, dignified, intelligent, and strong. They also planned to seek permission from her to return back to the village for trade. Meanwhile, the villagers lived in a clan-based system, with each family having a head clan. Although they were organized, their system was not as centralized as that of the strangers. Even though the villagers also faced threats from surrounding villages with different ethnic backgrounds, who would often make some of the villagers slaves to work in their various villages, they managed to remain firm as they always prepared themselves to resist their attacks using bow and arrows. Finally, the strangers announced their departure to their homeland. The villagers, though initially surprised by the sudden leave, kindly saw them off, gifting the strangers food and supplies for their journey. It was a sad and unforgettable moment for both the strangers and the villagers. With hearts full of appreciation and memories, the strangers sailed off into the distance. The communication barrier seemed irrelevant as the villagers' gratitude for the strangers' visit was clearly written on their faces. They said their last goodbye as the shape of the strangers gradually disappeared. Enjoying the story? Don't forget to like, comment with your favorite story ideas and share to help grow the community. Years passed before the strangers returned to the village again. This time, they arrived in greater numbers, bringing several goods from their world. Some of the goods they brought included soft drinks, gunpowders, which they believed was going to help the hunters in the village. They also brought fancy outfits, mirrors, tobacco, alcohol, and many things they believed the villagers had never seen before. The strangers then proposed a trade, their goods in exchange for the village's precious minerals. Unaware of the true value of their resources, the villagers accepted the offer. They were persuaded by these strange, fascinating items and welcomed the villagers wholeheartedly into their community. As the villagers were happy with the items received, the strangers' true intentions remained concealed. Filled with excitement, the villagers failed to see the imbalance in the exchange. As the years passed by, the villagers continued to trade with the strangers. However, the terms of exchange subtly shifted, unnoticed by the villagers, who remained unaware of the transformation taking place within themselves. The villagers started to barter away valuable land in exchange for the strangers' goods. The village underwent rapid transformation, moving from a quaint settlement to a thriving city. The strangers, now firmly established in the village, began to construct castles along the coastline. They claimed these structures would serve as warehouses for their goods. The villagers supervised the construction work, unaware of the strangers' true intentions. As the strangers' castle rose from the earth, the village underwent a rapid transformation. The strangers built grand houses, and the village blossomed into a thriving city. However, the strangers' influence soon spread to surrounding villages, bringing oppression and fear. The villagers, who had initially welcomed the strangers with open arms, soon found themselves subjected to the strangers' tyranny. When the villagers attempted to resist, they were met with the strangers' superior firepower. The sound of guns echoed through the air, striking fear into the hearts of the villagers. The villagers, who had never seen guns before, were terrified. They had thought their bows and arrows would be enough to defend themselves, but they were no match for the strangers' firearms. The villagers were forced to surrender, and soon they found themselves under the control of the strangers they had once welcomed as friends.